Hi, this is Kira from the G Network. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a Nations Cup on JeeSports, or say a group stage type of competition which is followed by playoffs. Okay, so let's get started. So when you are on JeeSports, you go to Nations Cup, which is the icon here on the right hand side. So I click on that, and then if you have the right uh, access, you will see that link here. So create Nations Cup, and so creating a Nations Cup is by default allowed to admins only on JeeSports. We may open this up to premium users as we go. So you click on that button here, Create Nations Cup, and it will take you to a form. So title, description. You can upload your Nations Cup banner here if you want. Again, if you don't upload one, you will have the default one appearing on your Nations Cup page. You will see that the recommended size for the banner is 667 to 135. Then play settings, you have the maximum number of teams that can register to the Nations Cup or to the event. You will then have the number of players by that is minimum number of players per team. So say you want to run a 5 versus 5 type of event, then you want at least 5 people in that team, in each team signing up. If you want to run, say, a combination of 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, and 3 versus 3, then you take the highest number of players you're going to need, which is 3 in this case, and you set that up. Okay? So if we carry on, so I have 8 teams here. I could select, any other combination, as you see there. I carry on, and you have the registration section here. So the registration start date, let's say I set that now, and the registration end date, let's say I set that to, mid-January. Okay, you can set the time as well. So let's say set that to 3 p.m. GMT time. That basically means registrations are going to be open between the 28th of December to the 15th of January at 1500, so 3 p.m. Okay, once the registration are closed, no team can join. Okay, team or player, depending on the type of event, group stage you're running. So you can select, the countries which are allowed to join. Again, I'll select all here. But if I wanted to restrict access to, teams or players from a specific country, then I would select that here as well. And you can control-click to select several countries. Okay, so I keep that to all. Entry requirements, that again is an admin function, is if you want your event to be accessible only by teams or players who have G credits. You can set then the sponsors of the event. Again, you could be setting several sponsors, name, logo, URL, and then you just click that plus button for the next sponsor, and so on and so forth. Okay, and you can click the minus again, if you want to reduce the number of sponsors, basically. Okay, so next section, I'm going to leave that as is for the time being. The communication and support, again, as with any event on JeeSports, you're going to have a support channel, live chat, created automatically when you create your tournament. You can also set, say, an IRC channel here to inform people where they can get support. For instance, if they need support in registering to the event or anything else, finding their opponents. Usually, all the communication for JeeSports event happens on that IRC channel. Then you can set who is going to be your, cup host. So Nations Cup in this instance, it could be again any type of group stage event. So you set the host. The host is going to be able to edit some of the parameters of the tournament. Let's say the title or the start date, for instance. The referee as well as the co-host are going to be the people who are able to set winners, for example, report match results in the event. One of the team leader or one of the player left without reporting the result. They are also the one alerted when there is a protest. Let's say there is a dispute on a match result. They automatically get an email when the result entered by one of the player or one of the team is contested by the opponent. And then you can set the awards here. Again, you could select 1 to 1. I'm going to select the gold medal. 2 to 2. I'm going to select the silver medal. And for the third place, I'm going to select the bronze medal. I could also do something like, 1 to 5. They all get a big booyah. Okay? So that's great. Now that you've set the kind of basic parameters of your tournament, you can, well, of your, not tournament, but your group stage event, Nations Cup in this case, you can go ahead and submit. Okay, so I'm going to jump straight to, Nations Cup I created before, and also to which I've registered a number of teams. Okay, so here is what the page looks like once you've submitted the form. You have a setup button here, which I'm going to come up to, and you have the entire Nations Cup navigation here. Okay, so you can see the participants here, okay, all the teams with a tab. Okay, you can navigate with the pagination. You got the schedule, and again, if you're running that Nations Cup over a certain period of time, you could set that here. But you will be able to set that once you've set some of the default parameters here, once you've clicked setup, and I'll come back to that. Upcoming page, upcoming matches, to see what are the next matches, results, to see the results, prizes, to see whatever prize has been allocated, none in this case. Brackets, this is for the group stage playoffs. Support, so anyone that's been set as a support staff, referee or else, and the rules. These rules are specific to the game. So I haven't set anything here, but that's where you would see the event rules. Again, I talked about the support live chat, and that's where you find it. Under support, then live support, and you're able to come here and chat with your players, team leaders, participants. Okay, so let's go back to the info page and set this up. So I've created my Nations Cup, submitted the form. Teams have signed up for this Nations Cup. As you see here, the status is post registration. I now need to set a number of parameters. For example, how many group stages do we have? And how many teams per group can make it to the playoffs. So let's click on setup to see a bit more. Okay, so here it's pretty straightforward. 16 teams have registered to that event. No other team can register now. Um, number of groups I want. Let's say I want 4 groups. Number of players. Number of teams. Actually, it says players here, but number of players I want to make it to the playoff, or players or teams. So I'm going to say 2, and that is 2 per group. It's not 2 as a whole, it's 2 per group. So we're going to end up with 8 teams in the playoffs. Okay? The group stage mode, it can be round robin, meaning that every team is going to meet the other one only once, or it could be double round robin, meaning that teams are going to play against each other twice. Okay, so I'm going to set that to round robin in this case and apply the settings. Okay, so I'm going to jump to Nations Cup, where I am actually at the next step of that process. So let's go back and look at Nations Cup 5. Okay, in this Nations Cup, as you can see here, we have a number of matches that have been played already. In this instance, I have 2 groups, and I've set the playoff size to, I believe, 2, or 2 teams per group. Is it 2 or is it 3? I need to double check that. So once the Nations Cup has run, you go to your upcoming matches or to your results, and you will see everything. As an admin, you're able to go there, report the results. As a player, you're able to go there and report the results as well. So the team leader can also update the roster, which is something he must do if he wants the ratings to apply. So I'm going to do that here, for instance. Okay, so once that's done, the page is going to be updated automatically, and you're going to see those players here, okay, in your roster, and both teams should be doing that. So from the match details page, you can see what results has been reported and everything. Okay, so we're at a stage where the group stage is now completed. Okay, so you see the total number of points here. One thing you notice is there is a number of teams in Group 1 and Group 2 which have a similar number of points. So 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-0, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Okay, so you see that these 3 teams here and these 3 teams there have a similar number of points. So we're going to have to split those teams so that at the end we only have 2 of them, okay, in each group that are making it to the playoffs. So what we're suggesting here is that the admin is going to organize additional matches between these teams so that we end up with only 2 teams. Okay, this process is managed outside of this group stage / Nations Cup workflow. Okay, so it's just about setting matches on the side, making sure that you end up only getting the number of teams you want, and you can have 2 per group. Okay, you then go to this setup playoffs section. So I'm going to click on that. One thing you'll notice before I set up the playoffs, if I go to brackets, this is empty for now. This is because I need to set up the playoffs. So I go to set up playoffs, and after I have split, you see the number, that there are teams here with similar number of points. If I go back here, you also see that we need 2 per group. Okay, so 7, 2, and 1 are in the same group. 4, 9, 8, 6 are in the same group. So I need to make sure that I take 2 from each of those groups. To make things easy here, I'm going to take 7, 2, 4, 9. Okay, so I go back there. Let's say I've run all my side, matches to split the teams, and I'm taking team 7, 2, 9, 6. Let me go back to, 9, 4. So 7, I put the team 7, just drag and drop. 7, 2, okay. And I have 9 and 4. Okay, so I'm gonna add bracket, okay, for the second team. So I'm gonna do a 9 and 4. But these teams have already played against each other. So ideally what I do is that I'm gonna take 4, put it against the team 7, and I'm gonna take the team which one did I have? The team 2, and put it against the team 9. Okay, and now I can create my rounds. Okay, so clicking here, basically I'm setting up what sort of rounds I want. So if it was a 1 versus 1, then that's pretty straightforward, right? Because everything is set up for 1 versus 1. But in this instance, I'm actually talking about 5 versus 5. So I'm going to have one match in round 1 of the playoffs. I'm going to have one match of 5 versus 5 with a winning condition best of 1. Okay, it's going to be played on, whatever map I want. I'm going to leave that blank for now. And I'm going to move to the final round. So the final round, again, could be, 1 5 versus 5 with a winning condition of best of 3. Okay? For the third place match, I'm going to say it's a 5 versus 5 with a winning condition best of 3 as well. Okay? And I could easily switch that to best of 5 and so on and so forth. Okay? One thing I can do here is I can have a mixture, right, of, player size, team size. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have here in my round 1, I'm going to have, a 5 versus 5 followed by, 3 1 versus 1s, or let's say 1 1 versus 1, best of 1, followed by 1 2 versus 2, best of 1. Okay, so you see here that in one round I have a mix of games, 5 versus 5, 1 versus 1, and 2 versus 2. Okay, so now to make that nice, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to apply this same setting to my final and third place round. So all I do, instead of entering all these manually here, I'm just going to click copy here, and I'm going to paste this to my final round. Okay, you see, boom, updated, right? And we said for the final round, we can make things a bit tougher, right? Let's put the 5 versus 5 as a best of 3, for instance, and I'm going to paste that to my third place round as well. Okay, so that's nice here. I have a nice thing, and I can go and save that round's settings. Okay, so the playoffs are created. You see the status here, playoffs. So that's nice. If you go to the brackets here, you'll see the brackets nice and easy. Okay, 7 versus 4, 9 versus 2. If you go to upcoming matches, you'll see the matches that have to be played. So 7 versus 4 and 9 versus 2. You can click on that to go to the match details page. You see that sets we have, so 5 versus 5, 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, and you can click on each of them to update the roster and report the result. Okay, so you see here, I select my roster, and there I update the result. Okay, now let's just have a look at, so I could go here and click and report the 1 versus 1, and so on and so forth. Let's go back to my brackets here and look at what I have. Let's, for instance, report the results and then move on to the final round to see what this one looks like. So I'm going to do that and then come back and show you. Okay, I've reported the results for team 7 versus team 4. Let's go together and look at the team 9 versus team 2 so you can see what the flow looks like. Okay, so I go there, 5 versus 5. I go to the details. I'm gonna update the roster. Let's say not doing that right now, but I should do that. Select team 2 as the winner of the game 1. I go back to my match page and report the second one. So I go to details here again of the 1 versus 1. I again need to update my roster. So let's say I select Exodus in this case. Okay, it's updating that. Okay, nice and easy. So I see that it's Exodus. As I'm an admin, I can update any roster I want. So I'll update the other team's roster as well. That's nice. And let's say that Exodus won against user 9 for that 1 versus 1. I select that. So team 2 basically. One thing you're going to notice, if I go back to upcoming paid matches, right, and I go to the details here, oops, you see that the match actually of Team 9 versus Team 2 has disappeared, even though they played only 2 of the matches. This is because they won 2 out of 3, so that's enough for them to move on. That said, the last match should be reported as well. So they will see that match obviously on the side section here, the My Matches section, or they can go to Results, scroll down, right? You see the result here, and I can then report the result for the 2 versus 2. So I'm going to do that, and let's say in this case, team 9 won. Okay, so it's actually 2-1. I go here, back to brackets. That looks nice. I can now, click on, this match here, team 7 versus team 2, or just go to the upcoming match and click details. It takes me exactly to the same place. Now, if I go to the first set, the 5 versus 5, remember this was a best of 3 match. Okay, so I have 3 sections here for match reporting. Subset number 1, so that's a game 1 out of 3. I report the result here. Okay, then on that same page, of course, you will have updated your roster. On that same page, you can scroll down, report the result of game 2. I can say team 2 as the winner and report the last match result. Let's say team 7 won. Okay, so that's nice and easy, reported. I go back there and report the game 2. Game 2, let's say it's a 1 versus 1. It's a best of 1 match. So I'm just gonna set team 2 as the winner. Okay, that's all done. And then for the last match, I'm gonna say that team 7 won after updating the roster obviously so that the rating points here can be accounted for. So I'm gonna select team 7. It's a best of 1 match, and I'm gonna submit. Okay, now if I go to upcoming matches, there's nothing. All matches have been played. We only have the third place match here to be played. We're not gonna look at that now, but ultimately this is something that would need to take place. Okay, great. Now this is it for the group stage match. You see a section here it's not really blank. That is for any, group stage, / Nations Cup related news. So as an admin, I can post news, and let me go to the news section, for instance. So news management here, and I can post the news which says, this Nations Cup, and this is an announcement. This for StarCraft 2. Not gonna set that, but I need to set my competition type and the competition itself. So it's a Nations Cup, and then I can select. It's a Nations Cup number 5 that I can select here. I need to add some tags, so I'm gonna do that. Just select some random stuff, and here I'm gonna enter some text. Again, let me take a paragraph from here. I'm gonna just do that. And I should be good for submitting that news. So let me do that. Okay, great. Let me actually add a picture to that, at least a list image. Here we go. That's done. Now, if I go to my Nations Cup page and I refresh that, I see that news here. Okay, so I have news that are specific to this Nations Cup, and they appear here, and people can comment on them and everything. Okay, so that's it for the Nations Cup / group stage plus playoffs type of event. The only thing we are not able to do as of right now, but this will be fixed very soon, is a double elimination playoffs tournament to close the group stage / Nations Cup event. So for now, as you've seen, it's a single brackets elimination tournament. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I shall see you soon on JeeSports. Thank you.